Hi guys, my name is Asirvo and it is me answering all the questions that I know that teenagers ask themselves. Now the question I want to answer today is actually a very, very academic question, and I will try as much as possible to give answers to them and make some recommendations. What's the question? I find it hard to assimilate anytime I read. What do I do? Now I'm just going to skip out some few points, then I'll make recommendations. But the first thing I'm going to say is this. I'm a Christian and I believe in certain things about the conventions of our faith or the beliefs that we have as Christians. Now, and I know that other religions actually also accept this. What do I want to say? Now, the God who made us perfect. In fact, there's a place in the book of Genesis that says that God saw everything that He made, and behold, it was good. Meaning that there is nothing God actually made that is not good. So I believe that God has encapsulated in us as humans all the intelligence we need to live for life. And so I believe that there is nobody who is a dollar. I believe that there is nobody who cannot assimilate. That's my orientation, that's my belief system. Now, a man said something, he said it this way, Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes, he said that God exhaled into all of him. So when God exhaled into us, all of him, what He wants us to also do is to exhale into life, meaning that we can actually exhale what we inhaled from God. And let me put that in. What I'm saying is this: there's a completion of God that is in you, and that is why nobody should think that he or she is not brilliant. Nobody should think that he or she is a dollar. Nobody was designed that way. God created us in a very, very perfect way. The challenge could actually be that in your formative years, there were certain things you should have learned or you should have been taught that you were not taught. You understand? So that could be the challenge. So if I were you, I would go back to the drawing board. Where did I start having this challenge? Is it that it is my ability to read fast that is the issue, or my ability to interpret what has been read, or to store those things in my head? Now, the human memory is very powerful. So there is no way you will not be able to assimilate. The human mind is very powerful. You'll be surprised. Now, take for instance, look at your mind and imagine the numbers of music you know in your head. Often, imagine the music you have listened to since you were 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and then now you are 18 or you're 17, you're 16, you're 20. And once you hear the sound of that music or the beat of that song, you remember that song. It simply shows to you that the human mind is powerful. Now what you need to do is now look out for ways, methods that you can help yourself to assimilate. For example, I'm somebody who can read even when you're playing music. But I have friends who find it very hard to read when there is music, there's a distraction. So such a person knows that he's putting himself or herself in danger, when he tries to read where there is noise. So he has to find where there is quietude, or where there is stillness, or where there is tranquility. Now, these are things you need to look at. What are my peak times? For example, when do you try to read? Do you try to read when you are in the class, when people are talking, or when you are in the house and some people are watching movies? If I were you, I'll start looking at, in fact, the first thing you should do for, especially for somebody who feels like does not assimilate well, is to start reading where there is quietness. It means that you could try reading late in the night, or if you think you sleep too early, you can start reading very early in the morning. When I was in secondary school, when I was preparing for my WAEC examination, one of the things I did was that I used to wake up 4 a.m. to read. I read between 4 a.m. till 6 a.m. I do that 6 a.m. because by the time it's about 6 a.m., the Muslims are already making their prayer calls, and so you start hearing feet and the sounds, and those things distract me. But because I needed intense concentration, I needed to stay a lot of my reading time into a period where there is stillness. Sometimes I have to go to the church to read because there's always quietness during those periods. I go out very early to read. And yes, there's nothing wrong with when you read, you try to cram or you try to recollect what you have read. I remember when I started teaching too, and I was trying to put figures of, I was teaching government, and I wanted to put figures of dates in my head. I wanted to learn how to store figures in my head. when Nigeria gained their independence, when we started the late constitution, when we started the fascicles, and I wanted to put in those dates in my head and be very, very accurate. What I do is this: after reading, I go out, stroll through my street, and then recall some of those things that I've read. Oftentimes, what used to affect our ability to assimilate is because when we read, we don't meditate. So I'm saying so many things, but I want you to just pay attention to what I've said. When we read, we don't meditate. It means that after reading, sometimes you have to meditate. What do I mean by meditate? Reflect on what you have read. Reading is not just about taking a book and reading and reading and reading. It also means that you can reflect on what you have read. Now, you read about the military coup, the first military coup. What I would do is I will surround myself with that experience. I don't just say, okay, the first military coup happened in 1966. I won't just say it happened in January 1966. I'll try to look at the players that played around those places. Who were the people that played during that military coup? There was Kaduna Asirvo. I'll think about it and I'll imagine it in my head. After reading it, and I heard that the second military coup happened in July of that same year, so I'll go out and think about it. The first military coup happened in January. That was okay. The second one happened in July. That's like 6 months. By expanding your thought on what you have read, what you do is that you create retention. There's nobody who cannot assimilate. For example, what I'm trying to say is this: once you can engage in conversations with people, you can assimilate. The only thing is that you have to find a method or a style that you can adapt to. Now, I give you an instance. I chose to be reading very early in the morning. When I was in the tertiary institution, one of the things I do is that when school ends a semester, people go, I don't go, I stay for at least a week or two. What do? I use that period, those 2 weeks, to read for the next semester. Take up the notes, the handouts, I get past questions, and I read those, because at that time the school is always quiet. I read, and then because there's no distraction, there's nobody to think about, I have food. It makes me assimilate more during those periods. And then because I know that once the school system resumes, you have friends to greet, you have to gist on campus and all of those things. So I factor in those things into my reading process. Another thing is this. Now, I would say this is actually very funny, but see, if you don't eat well, you may not also be able to assimilate. So if you're trying to read when you are hungry, that's another issue. So you need to understand that you need to just sit down and reflect on it. What are the things that I need to put in? I have to do the foundational thing. Sometimes some of us are slow learners. It takes us time to grab things. So you have to look at that. Does it take me time to grab things? If it means it takes me time to grab things, do I need to spend, if my friend uses 1 hour to read, do I need to spend 2 hours to read? Do I need to spend 3 hours to read? The same thing. So those are the things you have to look into and factor in anytime you're reading. You have answered